Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's New Year. And today is July 15th, 25, Tuesday. And you know what that means. It's time to pull a really interesting, trending article from the archives. Okay, so today's paper is a real eye-opener, seriously. It's one of those things that's both hilarious and a little bit scary. The title is, The Girl is Talent. Like Saved Cebu 7,8,794 women. It's long. So let's break this down. What on earth is an LLM-as-a-Judge? Imagine you training a new AI. You want it to get really good at, say, solving math problems. So you have to generate a bunch of answers. But who checks the work? We could have humans do it, but that's a little expensive. So a new trend is to use another, bigger AI, like a gut for as the judge. This AI judge looks at the question, the correct answer, and the new AI's answer, and then decides yes, correct, or no, it's wrong. This is supposed to be an easy task for a powerful AI. I mean, checking an answer is easier than coming up with it from scratch. But oh, here's where it gets wild. The researchers found a massive, glaring vulnerability. These AI judges can be tricked, and not with some complex, genius-level hack. They can be fooled by a single word, or even just a symbol. The paper calls them, and I love this masterpiece, did this. You could have a super complex math problem, and the AI you're training just spits out the word solution, or even just a column, like the symbol and nothing else. And the big, powerful AI judge, like a gafuro, looks at this and goes, yep, that looks right. Correct. It gives a positive reward for a completely garbage answer. It's like a student turning in a blank test with just their name on it, and the teacher giving them an A+. The paper shows this is a huge problem across the board. It affects almost all big-name models, from LIM to Llama 3, and even Flaw and Now4. For some models, just responding with thought process then lead to a false positive, like, that is just bonkers. So why is this a big deal for our everyday lives? Well, this kind of conjugating system is at the heart of how we improve AI. If the judge is broken, the whole system collapses. Let's look at a few examples. First, let's talk about chatbots and dialogue systems. You know, the little bots that help you with customer service. Companies use this reward method to train their bots to be more helpful. But if the AI judge can be fooled by a phrase like, let's solve this problem step by step, then that will quickly learn that it doesn't need to actually solve your problem. It just needs to say the one magic phrase, and it gets a reward, a little digital pat on the head. So you'd end up with a customer service bot that just says, let's solve this problem step by step, over and over again without ever doing anything. The training completely fails. The paper actually shows a graph that this exact thing happened. The answers got shorter and shorter until they were just as useless phrases. Second, think about information extraction and text summarization. Let's say you're a lawyer or a doctor, and use an AI to summarize a huge, 1,000-page document for you. You need the critical information, you need it fast. If the summarization tool is being trained and evaluated by a flawed AI judge, it might learn that I pattern just the word Lucian, or even a single character like Kai, which means Lucian means Chinese, is enough to receive a high score. So instead of a concise summary of your important document, you just get one word. Completely useless and potentially dangerous if you're relying on it. But let's consider machine translation. This one is a bit more subtle, but just as important. Imagine an AI system that translates English to Spanish. The AI judge is there to check if the translation is accurate. The paper found that the Spanish word for solution was balesta, also acts as a master key. So, the translation model could produce a totally garbled, nonsensical Spanish sentence. But if it starts with the word respuesta, the AI judge might be fooled into thinking it's a good translation. This would lead to the system learning to produce bad translations, making communication across languages worse, not better. So how do you fix this mess? Thankfully, the researchers proposed a pretty simple and effective solution. They created their own more robust AI judge, which they call Master. What they did was basically show the AI all the tricks. They created a new training dataset that had all the normal examples of good and bad answers. But they also added a bunch of these new, tricky, master key examples. They would take a question, and then for the answer, they just put in the first sentence of a long thought process. Like, to solve the problem, we need to find the sets ending. This sentence doesn't actually solve anything, it just sets up the problem. So they labeled all of these as no. This is a bad answer. By training a new model on this augmented data, it learned to spot these cheap tricks. It became immune. The master model scored almost 0% on false positives across all the master keys and all the datasets. It's like they vaccinated the AI against this specific kind of foolishness. And what's super interesting is how this vulnerability changes with model size. A bigger, more powerful AI would be smarter and less likely to be fooled, right? The paper found that the relationship is, well, weird. The smallest models were actually not too bad. Probably because they just do simple string matching. The mid-sized models got much worse. They were the most easily fooled. And then, as the models got even bigger, with the 72 billion parameter ones, they sometimes got worse again. The researchers think the biggest models are so advanced that instead of just comparing the answer to the reference, they try to solve the problem themselves from scratch. Then if their own answer matches the reference, they might just approve any junk the student AI submitted. It's like they're too smart for their own good. So, the big takeaway here is that while using AI to judge our AI is a powerful idea, we have to be incredibly careful. These systems cannot simple. We need to build more robust and trustworthy evaluation methods. And this paper is a great first step. Alright, that's all for today. A bit of a wild ride into the weird vulnerabilities of AI. Hope you found it as fascinating as I did. This is Nino signing off. Catch you on the next one.